I've been using a weighted blanket to help with sleep for years, so I wasn't surprised with recent research showing that weighted blankets increase melatonin levels. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Dr. David with another Ask Dr. David video. We are all looking for better ways to help ourselves sleep, help our kids sleep. We want them sleeping longer. We want them going to bed sooner. We want them being more rested. We want to feel better ourselves. And so we're all looking for ways to unlock this better sleep. Now, I know I did a recent video talking about melatonin. And, melatonin, there's been some big issues going on, especially with children, because people have been giving kids too much melatonin. There have been products that have been mislabeled as to how many milligrams, and they could even have 7, 10 times the amount of melatonin in them, which can cause a very deep somnolence kind of issue. And of course, there are also these gummies of melatonin that look like candy, and kids have had accidental overdosings of those. So while done under the supervision of a qualified physician who can guide a family how to do this, there are potential concerns when it comes to the supplementation of melatonin. Now, wouldn't it be nice, though, if there was a way that we can increase our melatonin in a completely natural way? Okay. Now, in this study that was recently done, it was published in the Journal of Sleep Research from Sweden's Uppsala University. They're one of the top research-based universities in the entire world. And they were able to demonstrate that the use of weighted blankets would increase melatonin levels. And so what they did is they took 26 young men and women, and they examined whether a weighted blanket in this particular study, they averaged about 12% of the person's body weight. Okay, so if they weigh 200 pounds, a little bit more than 20 pounds, give or take, and they would see if it would increase the production not just of melatonin, but also some of the stress promoting hormones, cortisol levels, oxytocin, as well as some of the fight or flight hormones that are associated with the sympathetic nervous system. And what they did is that once they put the blanket on people, and so half the people had just a regular like light blanket on, and the other half of the people had the weighted blanket, and they kept on checking a person's saliva levels while they were wearing it under the blanket. They weren't even sleeping because obviously you couldn't really collect the person's saliva level while they're sleeping. At least I hope not. And what they found is that for melatonin, the saliva level went up about 30%. But all of those other hormones that I mentioned didn't go up at all. It was just the melatonin. So, so now we have direct evidence that just simply a weighted blanket can increase melatonin levels. Now, does that necessarily prove that a person's going to sleep better? Well, I'm now going to call upon a study from 2020 that was done by a different group in Sweden. I guess they're the sleep research experts over there, right? But in this particular study, they showed that using a weighted blanket significantly brought a reduction in the severity of insomnia, but it also showed significant improvements in the daytime symptoms of a wide range of psychiatric conditions like major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, ADD, generalized anxiety as well. So this was just the simple use of it and how the people would be in the following day. Now, also, there's been additional research that has shown that melatonin itself, when taken as a supplement in some people, can help treat some of these disorders like depression. Okay. And we've included all of the links to these studies down below so you can research it and learn more about it yourself. Now, as I mentioned, have been using a weighted blanket for years. It's been about 3 years now that I've started using it. I did it on the recommendation or suggestion of a patient who's a mom of a patient who had said that she had this wonderful success with it. She told me which one that she had gotten. I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it a try. I didn't think I would like it, because I always slept with just a top sheet. I didn't even want any regular blanket on me. I felt it was too hot. Even like, if it maybe in the cold of winter on those 3 days here in Florida when that happens, I would maybe wear something very, very, use something very light. But overall, I would just wear. So I didn't think I would like it at all, and I was really surprised. I found it incredibly comforting, incredibly soothing. It almost felt like I was getting a full body hug the entire time. Just like it was very cocoony, kind of very, very comforting feeling. And sure enough, the next day I slept better. And I've continued to do so even to the point where I travel with it. Now, I don't fly with it because 20 pounds in a suitcase, that takes up like half of how much a suitcase can weigh. But when I go on cruises or if I travel locally in the car, I have an extra bag and I keep that and my special pillow in there, my CPAP. So oh my gosh, you should see what I have to do in order to get a good night's sleep. But definitely the weighted blanket did make a big difference and continues to do so. And I wouldn't stop it now. Now, this is a rather safe treatment to try, but there are some important caveats that I want to point out, especially for children. Number one, this is not something that I would do like in an infant or toddler. Okay, this needs to be somebody considerably older. You want to use a weighted blanket that's approximately 10% of body weight. I know they did 12% in the study, but the kind of general rule of thumb is 10% of a person's body weight. And of course, especially with children, make sure that they don't put it over their heads. Really kind of, I kind of like to tuck mine in under him. I'll keep my arms out sometimes. But yeah, you want, obviously, just with the kind of weight on top of a child's head, that could be more difficult. And that's, again, why you wouldn't want to do it with a very young child, because it may be too much weight on them if they needed to move around. All right. Well, I hope I taught you something new today. And again, wouldn't it be nice if all things were just as easy as by putting something on you, you could feel better and have better function in life? So thanks everybody for listening. Again, join us on our Patreon page where we have exclusive content. We are now doing a podcast as well. So a lot of this information is available in audio format since not everybody can watch videos, and of course, all of our other social media avenues. Have a great day.